Good morning, everybody, and this is your S&P 500 day trade setups for today. So, a couple of things on the cards at the moment. So, we had a strong week last week. Then we formed a double top. I'm just going to block it so you can see it. There's our double top there. We did break through it with data, and double top target was hit. If you look to the left, week before last, we had all these buyers coming in this zone here. Now, one thing you need to bear in mind about the stock markets is V reversals are rare. So, in other words, price hitting a low and then just bouncing off it and shooting to the top. It's the only time that's happened recently was here, which was the COVID fall. So you can see the COVID fall, and everybody was like, V reversals are rare, very cautious, very cautious. And then until we broke through there, it's okay, it's a V reversal and it's sorted. It hasn't happened again in quite some time. I mean, okay, we could argue that was a V reversal, but there was a fairly deep pullback for that move over here. But this here, there was no pullback back. So if you look at this, we've had one move down, up, and then we've had a lower one. And at the moment, if you look at the weekly, let's get rid of that double top. That is an inverse hammer. Inverse hammer with a confirmation bar is a bullish pattern. So we'd need to get another green bar this week, preferably above the tail, but that's a pretty big move. But that is a gap down. That's a piercing pattern. If you just take the tail off, it's a piercing pattern. It's an inverse hammer. That is an area that you just need to pay very close attention to, because it is just a signal that something is brewing. We do have a gap here that's still open. We haven't tagged that gap yet, so I'm going to keep that sort of in line. I just want to come to the daily and just swing across just to pay attention to everything that's in here. There's another level in amongst us, which is right there. Okay, so you can see I've got two zones of support and resistance, and if we just start off on the 8 hour now, so just keep all that noise in your head. There's my two zones of support and two zones of support at the moment. So this is the first one, and here's the second one. Pay attention to my oscillators. Divergence is brewing. It's not confirmed yet, but there's the low. This is starting to get lower. Prices higher. It's going to have to drop below here before we get there. You'll also notice that this swing low did not quite get into, well, didn't quite test this area. It was a little bit short. So if you start dropping through the time frames, you'll see what I'm talking about. See there, swing low last week, just missed this. So this 35.50, and if I look at the bar, its low was 35.59, so we missed it by 9 points. Look to the left, we're definitely in this area. Double top has played out. Oscillators all grouped to the downside again. We had a bullish crossover, now we've got a bearish crossover again. 155 EMA coming into play yet again. And you can see we missed it there. Second attempt, rejection, bit of a gap up just to trap everybody thinking we're going to move to the upside. But when you look at it on the 3 hour, that is a moving average that's always in play. So at the moment, the debate is whether we're going to find support here for another move up. We are in a downward trend. I'm not going to argue with that. So this is the level of resistance we should be looking for. That's 37.21. So we should be looking for some kind of a rejection of here for another sort of move to the downside. We do have the Fed minutes coming out on Wednesday, and we've got a whole lot of European data noise coming out before that and on Wednesday as well. So I suspect we're probably going to be volatile in this area. And the last time I looked, the open interest on puts and calls, options traders, that is, was pretty much around here in the 3600 area. So I do suspect this is kind of where we're going to range, at least until Wednesday when the Fed minutes come out. So looking at the hour, you can see there was no indication that we were going to reject this area. You can, hindsight's always a perfect science, but I suppose we could have argued that that was the area of what was support, and then we rejected it twice on Friday, a couple of times. But with data, especially the non-farm payrolls, it could have shot up in the opposite direction. And the data was relatively good. It wasn't that bad, but yet we still dropped. Okay, which is why I hate trading noise. It's often you think this is what it should do because that's what the data says, but then it'll go in the opposite direction. So I hate trading noise. Anyway, enough rambling here. Let's have a look at what structure we've got. You'll notice now that we've got three areas, three distinct zones that we need to pay attention to. You'll also notice that that is your top zone, your bottom zone, and this one is pretty much in the middle. Not exact, but it's very much in the middle. We find support here. I suspect we're moving back into this zone. We drop below this, reject this. I suspect we're moving down to here. That's the simplicity of what we're seeing today. Again, definitely 15-minute because the bigger time frames is really confused. 15-minute, you see if we can get back here, close this gap, 36.43. Moving averages have separated quite far, so I would expect us to either reject there or reject there or reject there. So nice and messy. First area to pay attention to is 36.43. If you start seeing some bearish price action there, then you're definitely looking for a move to here, 36.11. I wouldn't, just a little bit higher above this 36.11. So maybe even 36.10 would be your target area. You can see we tried to get there this morning, so we're definitely going to come test this today. The question is whether we're testing it off here or we're testing it off here. And that is 36.58 or even higher up at 36.87. And we've got this massive gap here as well from Friday, which you do need to pay attention to as well. So that's at 37.21. But as I say, lower time frames, if you can get something in here, you've got a 128, 150 point stop loss for a 240 point move. So that's kind of the move that I would expect today. Some kind of rejection up here for a retest of this. I would expect a fairly strong bounce off this bottom area here at 36.11. Not that I'd want to be long there. If we drop below that, I'd want to see us drop, come back, retest this area, and it could be any one of these tails that are in play at the moment. Then you've got a stop area above there. And I mean, this is the juicy one. So you've got a 400 point stop loss for 546 point gain and then an 800 point gain at the bottom end of it. But I definitely wouldn't want to be looking for shorts lower than that. Okay, so today is a low time frame. If you've got time for the 5 minutes, probably well worth paying attention to the 5. Your oscillators will guide you, and just look for your support and resistance. Well, your resistance, not for support. Look for your areas of resistance, which is any one of these tails to the left of price. So price is going down, so any one of these fractals here is going to offer some kind of resistance. So wait for it. You see price action on it. You're looking for inside bars, engulfing bars, or pin bars. For the rejection, you're looking for the long. You're looking for the short, and stop above that structure. And you're first aiming for this area, 36.11. Get through 36.11. Wait for the pullback. Wait for the retest, and then you got a fairly comfortable trade. I think down to 35.50. But I suspect we're going to be up and down pretty much all week. And if I just zoom out just to close, let's go to the 8 hour or even the weekly, give you a better idea. See the chaos? There's so many levels in amongst this, and we've got some bullish price action that may be forming. So I'd be very, very skeptical of anything right now. We'd probably have to break above the extreme levels here. So there's 37.51 for us to start seeing if we're going to get a move back up, and 35.21 to see if we're actually going to fall further. So I suspect we're just going to bounce around in amongst here. So low time frames, get in on a level, get out on a level. Don't try jump in on a move. You're going to get burnt. Hope that helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.